Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get together. No, that's right, we're not daily anymore. Monday through Saturday, our morning get together here on Facebook Live, where we take a look at current affairs that are affecting Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, our state, Jalisco, and how these affairs affect us as a community of English speaking locals. We also get to listen to the construction sounds of the place next door to mine. So if you hear constant going on in the background, it's because somebody's building something. If this is the first time that you join us, well, here we are. We are a community of locals looking for tips, comments, ideas, and all kinds of suggestions to better enjoy Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. So if this is your first time here, get comfortable. Let us know that you're new by writing the word new in your comments, and that way we will give you a proper welcome. Before I get very much ahead of myself, I noticed a birthday, which I'm going to acknowledge now, and we're going to acknowledge everybody else in the second half of the show. But Paula, happy birthday. I hope you have a good one. I hope you do. I really do. Happy birthday, Paula. Anyhow, today we have news to share. We have Luna hanging out. Luna is wondering what the fuck is it going on with that noise. And we also have Walking Wednesday. We're going to go explore an eyesore. Yes, there is an eyesore on Los Muertos Beach. You probably walk past it. You're probably used to seeing it all the time, so you don't even think about this thing as an eyesore. But it was a political eyesore when it was built, and we are going to uncover at least some of the story behind this eyesore. But first, let us get through our news, and we have a great article from the New York Times today. Let's get through our news. Let's get through Walking Wednesday, and then we can do a little bit of chit-chatting at the end. How about that? The tragic Mexico City subway accident that resulted in 25 deaths and 79 people injured will be investigated through a specialized inquiry by a Norwegian company. This was informed by Mexico City Mayor Claudia Sheinbaum. In a statement, she said, "We've reviewed several companies specialized in subway-related expertise, and by relying on an external company, we will get to the bottom of this unfortunate situation." Meanwhile, President of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, decreed 3 days of national mourning until tomorrow and promised that the investigations will move forward, looking to learn the truth and based on that to assign responsibilities. That said, the inquiry will be for the crimes of murder and property damage. Line 12 of Mexico City subway, which is where the tragedy took place, was inaugurated in 2012 under the supervision of Marcelo Ebrard, who at the time was mayor for Mexico City between 2006 and 2012, and is now Mexico's foreign affairs chancellor. From the very beginning of the construction of this subway line, it has been plagued with all kinds of imperfections. It's had to be shut down because of problems in a number of the subway stations throughout the line. So needless to say, Chancellor Ebrard will be one of the subjects in the inquiry. Although I don't have all the clips in front of me, please know that the world newspapers have joined Mexico in mourning this terrible accident, from the Wall Street Journal to Argentina's El Clarín to the New York Times to the Financial Times. The overall tenor of these newspaper articles has to do with something that we are all looking for, which is answers. Mexico is looking for answers. Although I must stop for a moment and see how unfortunate that these kinds of situations bring the best and the worst of humanity. A lot of people and a lot of news outlets have been concerned with the well-being of the people and the survivors and so forth and so on. Others have rushed to make this a political situation, given the fact that Mexico is in the middle of an important electoral period. And this is all very sad, to hear politicians get all political when deaths are involved. It is unpleasant, but unfortunately, it is what it is. As I mentioned earlier, Marcelo Ebrard was the jefe de gobierno, or chief of government, or mayor of Mexico City while the subway line was built. The construction at the time was handled by several important construction companies, but we know for a fact that the stretch where the accident took place was supervised by Carso, the very important construction company owned by Mexican multimillionaire Carlos Slim. And it's worth noting that Carso was also involved in the construction of our much delayed rapid highway between Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta. This article that I'm quoting now goes on to mention all the other important movers and shakers that were involved with the construction of Line 12 of the subway, who will be likely involved in the forthcoming inquiry. As always, this article, along with all others, is going to be included in our show notes for today. The last big news that I have for you has to do with local elections. You may recall, this is so funny. Well, it's not funny, but it is funny. Several weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, we indicated that Marina de los Santos, one of the mayoral candidates here in Puerto Vallarta, proposed to the Electoral College, well, we should have a debate among the different candidates. And wouldn't you know it, some candidates were quick to say, of course, I'll go to the debate. And other candidates refused to go on the debate as to why they should be the new Puerto Vallarta mayor. That is a clear indication of how prepared, and this is just my view of this, but it is a clear indication of how prepared or unprepared some of these candidates are to the actual skill of governing a city. But you should know that the debate will take place, and the guidelines for the upcoming debate continue to be defined. Now we know that the debate will take place on May 21st at 8 p.m., and it will be broadcast live on social media. We will definitely be taking a look at that, and we will write down some good talking points so we can talk about them later on. And the Electoral College has also made it very clear that the names of those candidates that refuse to go on the debate will be very, very prominently displayed for all of us to see. And those are the serious news. Let us jump now onto the weather just to see what we have in store for the rest of the week. Bill Gates and his divorce. Snarky Weather says, I didn't actually think I could seduce Bill Gates by pretending I was Cortana, but here we are. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to marry Bill Gates, although he has a lot of money, but I've never wanted to marry anyone for money. But what does that have to do with the weather? Absolutely nothing. What we should be focusing on is the fact that it is 26 degrees right now. It feels like 27. Humidity is not so bad at 50%. And our temperature is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Our forecast for today calls for a clear day throughout the day. High temperature of 29, low temperature 20. And tomorrow we can expect a clear day as well. High temperature 29, low temperature 21, getting a little warmer. And on Friday we'll have a clear day as well. High temperature 30, low temperature 22. So you see, I find it interesting that it's not so much that the daytime temperature is increasing lately, but the nighttime or the lowest temperature is what is increasing. So no, we haven't seen many instances of 32 degrees just yet, but our nights are bound to continue to get a little warmer. Moving on, I have one more headline that I would like to share with you before we dive into Walking Wednesday, and this would be the New York Times. The New York Times pushes my good buttons in a major way with a new article on their series of 5 minutes articles that will make you fall in love with certain types of music this time around. The New York Times focuses on choral music, which I used to do and I used to love and I used to sing and I used to conduct, with selections from the ancient, contemporary, gospel, opera, sacred, and romantic repertoire. For those of you that are not familiar with these series of articles, it's a series of articles in which the New York Times goes out and interviews important people that are not necessarily directly involved in creating music or creating the type of music that is referred to on the article, so that we understand why they find a particular type of music so wonderful and worth appreciating. So I hope you'll take a look at this article at some point today. If you want to share with me your impressions on some of these pieces, I would love to hear it. I think we are ready to walk. So let us walk, if we may, and then let's take a look at all your comments and we'll take it from there. How about that? There was a colorful incident going on, by the way, before we get started on the walk. There was a ever so slightly colorful incident halfway through the walk. I thought about editing it out, but it was what it was. And let's see, there he is. Get ready, here we go. And here we go. Hello everyone. As you can see, I am standing on the Rio Quale pedestrian bridge, wearing a matching bandana. I am looking in the southbound direction, and in front of me is this eyesore, which I'm going to take a photograph of so you can see it up close. Yes, we are starting today talking a little bit about how this eyesore came to be. I cannot remember the exact year, but when plans were made to build this beautiful overpass, which, as you know, allows us to connect from the northern end of the city, crossing over the Quale Bridge into Emiliano Zapata, the original renderings for this project included this descent, which is in front of me, which makes perfect sense. Well, I can't remember if this building was already there or if it was the previous owners. All I remember and I'm sorry that my times are not very fresh on my mind, is that whoever was in charge of this property decided, no, you cannot, Mr. Government, come here and block our view. So I suppose they tried to maneuver their way into building this detour, and the original plan was that you were able to come this way and then hang a left turn and absolutely not block their view by coming down this way. And you can see that because they had already built a structure down there so that this very irregular end of the bridge could be put together. Well, I suppose it was not meant to be. Needless to say, I don't know what the legal maneuverings or legal battles were, but the city got away with their original design. But they did so by the time in which enough of the eyesore was already built. So rather than destroying it, they just sort of put together that vantage point to look at absolutely nothing. And that is the story of the eyesore. And no matter where you look at it, from where you look at it, it is still an eyesore. But we didn't come all the way down here just for that. I happen to be in this part of town today, and I figure I'm always in a rush to get from one place to another when I'm walking down this stretch of the Malecon. And today we're going to take it a little bit slower. We're going to check out what's new around here.
Wear a shirt.
And we're going to continue all the way down to the Los Muertos pier, at which point I will continue with my Emiliano Zapata missions.
That was yesterday, by the way. It was gorgeous out.
It's a beautiful day out. It's very breezy. So today we're recording sound with my lavalier microphone, hoping that in the end it will not be as noisy as when it is if I use the built-in microphone in my camera.
Oh, I'm loving your comments.
Not much new to report in this part, unless you've been here, unless you haven't been here in a while.
Unfortunately, I think you're right, Terry. I think they could have used better materials for those bricks. And now imagine how much it's going to cost to repave that bridge. My goodness.
Now, I must apologize if I don't spend as much time in this part of the town as I used to. So I don't remember exactly when this two-story version of La Langosta Loca came to be. I do remember it happened within the last couple of years, maybe. And somehow something tells me that building a two-story chingadera right here on the beach is probably not the most legal of a project, but there it is.
Oh, Mushi. Oh, that is so funny.
And there's something here called La Cebolla Roja since 1976. Again, enjoying these restaurants can be fun, particularly now because there aren't that many people. So if you're looking for a place to sit and chill, there is more than one option for you to enjoy. Hoy no, muchas gracias. I'm about to be attacked by a waiter. Canto del Mar, a ver, ¿de qué se trata?
Las bebidas.
Okay, so it's not expensive to get shit-faced here. You can get a Corona or Pacifico for 35, 2 for 1 on all kinds of things. They have little munchies and all kinds of things. ¿A qué hora cierran?
Cerramos a las 9:30 más tardar.
Okay, muchas gracias. Shame on me, I know. I always say, what time do you close? Because I always feel bad by just checking out the goods and walking away, but today is not a good day for me to sit around. Oh, check out all these groovy face masks with faces on them. Now that's cool. If you're ever looking for a face mask with a built-in face on it, I think I just found a place to buy them. Cool. So nice to see people out and about and enjoying themselves. Hoy no, jefe, muchas gracias. Okay.
I think those face masks must be totally decorative and not entirely useful from the hygienic, sanitary point of view. But that's just
And now
me.
we're going to walk along the beach just to keep seeing what's going on. Oh, our beloved Daiquiri Dick's is now closed, of course. We don't know exactly what is going to happen here, but it was a great run. And here we go. We're going to take this photograph just because we remember so many times in which we enjoyed ourselves here at Daiquiri Dick's.
Agreed.
Now, I do know that Hotel Playa Los Arcos, which is right coming up, has totally rebuilt their pool area, or at least the restaurants that are part of the pool area. And I know that upstairs they opened this very unique restaurant where you can eat with your feet on the water.
In the water.
And yes, check it out. I have not walked down this way in quite some time. So this whole area has just been done. Perdón. And I suppose I could try to see how things look like from that new restaurant. Let me see if they'll let me go check it out. Oiga, jefe, ¿puedo subir a ver allá arriba?
Tiene que tener un consumo mínimo, señor.
Para ir a ver? I'm just finding out by the nice men here at Playa Los Arcos that you're not even allowed to go upstairs. O sea, si uno nada más quiere ver, a ver si está bonito o no, no dejan pasar a la gente.
You have to be on scene, señor.
Okay. So just so that we're all on the same page, the very nice man here at Playa Los Arcos will not let me go upstairs to just look at the restaurant. Muchísimas gracias, que le vaya bien. You have to guarantee that you are going to stay and eat in order to look at the new pool. So I'm not saying that is bad. I'm not saying that is good. I'm just saying that's the way it is. But it is called Hunab Pool. I have seen people post photographs of this. So if you've seen the photos online and you care to go there, it's your choice. Part of the new offering for the hotel is this very exotic Addams Family looking sort of setup, and that is what it is. Again, save yourselves the trouble if you want to see the restaurant where you want to dip your feet in the water while you're eating.
You got to be committed.
You have to guarantee consumption.
I thought they were kind of quirky days. You know, if I could, that's the first thing that came out of my mouth.
And here we are at our beautiful Los Muertos pier. Some might argue it was formerly beautiful because it's not well kept, but it's still here. And again, there is plenty of activity here. If I look at the beach, at Los Muertos Beach heading south, you can see there are a ton of umbrellas out. There are a ton of people enjoying themselves. And this continues all the way down to the end of the beach. And it is a good thing because it is a beautiful day to be out.
Your comments are great.
And that's
today.
it. Let me take a photograph of Los Muertos Beach where we just came from so that you can see it. And this is pretty much what we have for our walk today. So nice to see people enjoying themselves. It's nice to hope that they're all taking care of themselves and they're following the guidelines. I sure hope they are. But this is it for me. I'm going to continue with my day, but not without thanking you for joining me at least for a little while. I hope you've enjoyed today's walk, and I hope to walk with you again sometime in the near future. Between now and then, have a great day. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, he says. Oh my God, you guys had so many amazing comments today that I'm just itching to like take a stab at each and every one of them. Well, not all of them, but the huge majority. So here we go. We're entering our chit chat mode, and I'm going to rewind through all your comments, which I kept looking. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see that you were all here, or that you are all here, or you're still here. I look at the number of people that are watching live go steadily down because I appreciate that some people don't care for the chit chat, which is perfectly fine. I also want to say that I'm sorry to see that a number of people were experiencing internet woes. It's certainly nothing I said or did. I'm just broadcasting as usual. But it's weird. Sometimes the internet just has its mind of its own, and sometimes it's really wonderful, and sometimes not so much. Um, let's see. Craig, I keep imagining the day in which I will walk into Mama Caguamas and you'll actually be there. Let's see. We said hello. We said happy birthday to Paula. I'll say happy birthday again. Let's see. Let's see. I am having a Wicked Wednesday. Thank you very much, Bill. Let's see what else we have. Yes, Luna's still there. Thank you very much for that, Mihal. In fact, oh, you had to go there, Elaine. Joyeux Saint de Mayonnaise. Fine. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I love it. I love it. Let's see what else we have. Tan, 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 tan. Happy 60th anniversary of the flight into space by the late, great Alan B. Shepard. I wish I had $1 for every time my name has been referenced to him. I wish I had $1 for every time somebody has said to me, oh, you're Paco from Paco Paco. So, if I had $1 for every time, never mind. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. The fires. Yes, is there fire still burning in the hills? I don't think so, but I think people are still smelling it. I can definitely empathize with this, Troy. I'm sure that everybody or anybody living on the south side of the city is probably not breathing quite nicely. Let's see what else. Oh, Jill got serenade. I love it. This happens in my neighborhood too, Jill. What can I tell you? In those days in which it happens, I'm just grateful that that I get high because, I'll just pop a brownie and just try to sleep through it. But it happens sometimes. Don't go away, Celeste. That was me. Celeste, if you're still there, this is my dear friend Celeste, who's an actor, an actress, an actor. Celeste is a dear, dear local friend that is so interested in local theater. And a few days ago in my personal Facebook page, I posted some of my crochet videos or things that I've been making, and crochet. Celeste commented on it, and I said to her, I started crocheting as an adult because I missed my mother, who used to do it all the time, and Celeste said, oh wow, well that's definitely a good reason for me to honor my grandmother, and I'm going to learn how to crochet. Well, that night I got really, really stoned, and I was I was lying in bed thinking to myself, oh my god, there are so many parallels between crochet and acting. And I was so fascinated by my own thought process that I swear to God, Celeste, I almost called you like at 11:30 at night, high as a kite, just to share the parallels between crochet and acting. So if you want to hear those, Celeste, let's make a coffee date or something. If anybody else is interested in parallels between crochet and acting, just write the phrase crochet and acting in the comments and I will bore you to tears. Let's see what else. Pat, yes, I'm sorry that there were some glitches, or there are some glitches. Again, it's the internet sometimes behaving horribly. I saw this go by, that horrible building. I still cry about those gorgeous gardens. I remember being the managing editor at Vallarta Lifestyles when the building came up. In Vallarta Lifestyles, we were in the habit of always having in one issue the best of Vallarta, and it was an editorial thing. It was not a reader's choice. Well, there was a reader's choice, but this was an editorial thing. And I remember one year, or that year, my boss, publisher John Uden, said to me, how would you like to write a worst of Vallarta? And I looked at him and I said, well, we've never done that before. We never talk about the worst. And I know that although we always had a very strong division between editorial and advertisement, for our publisher to decide it is time for us to do a worst of Vallarta, It was an important move in the company, so I wrote an editorial, Worst Vallarta editorial about Molino de Agua, the condo, and how it changed the character of the city and certainly of that neighborhood. Well, the real estate industry locally did not take kindly to that, and but it was an important point in the development of our publication. I believe, although we ruffled some feathers, Vallarta Lifestyles gained credibility by daring to speak against something. So that is a little bit of a story. Let's see what else. If they smoothed out that bridge, it's uneven and difficult to walk on. Well, again, Kathleen, I'm not saying this to apologize for the city. I remember when it was freshly new and everything was very, very smooth. Those bricks are not good bricks. And clearly they have gone to, they've been worn out. And as I pointed out during the broadcast, by the time they replace them, it'll be a huge undertaking. And hopefully they will choose better bridges, better bricks next time around. Catherine blames it on the salt spray. I'm not an expert, but same thing, I mean, hopefully they'll pick better materials. Troy comments, didn't know that about the Rio Quale Bridge. Well, I mean, if it had been just an extension overlook, it's pretty bulky, you know what I mean? But no, I do remember clearly the back and forths between the company that was running the project and not wanting to have their view blocked at all by a decision made by the city, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty, and they ended up leaving that eyesore there. But there you have it. That's a little bit of the story behind that. Let's see. John went to Los Muertos Pier yesterday and was surprised about how much damage there is. Yes, it is sad and unfortunate that these things happen. And Paul, our friend Paul Chris, pointed out very eloquently the other day, for candidates, political candidates, it's a lot easier to promise things than to see them through. And I think, I don't remember the details, but Los Muertos Pier was one of those huge political promises, and it was delivered, and it was glorious. But then when it came down to its upkeep, it hasn't happened, which is very, very unfortunate. Let's see. I love this comment. Here come the weed guys. Don't ever buy weed from the weed guys. Don't ever buy weed from the weed guys. Yeah, don't ever buy weed on the beach, because you never know if those guys are in cahoots with the authorities, and you might be jailed, and it could get pretty. Hopefully, we won't even have to worry about this in a year or two when we're able to just walk into Costco. I mean, not Costco, into OXXO or whatever dispensary chain we end up getting. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see what else. Troy gives a thumbs up to La Langosta restaurant. Yeah, I mean, those are, it's funny because there were a lot of people out enjoying themselves, but not so many that I would not have wanted to hang out at any one of those little restaurants on the beach. And they're all trying very hard to get clients, and I appreciate that. So any one of those choices is a good choice as far as I'm concerned. Do you know, Paco, they make shotgun mics? Yes, of course I do, and I have a couple of them. My setup is very unique. When I know that it's going to be very windy, Bill, I wear a lavalier that connects to my iPhone, and I record my voice on my iPhone, and then I take the video from my camera and I add the voice track, which has been processed separately in post-production. So yeah, we are aware of all those gadgets, and quite honestly, I try to keep things as simple as possible while still hoping to deliver a good product. Let's see. Troy comments on the other eyesore, the building that is behind Lázaro Cárdenas Park. Yes, I mean, that's another one that is complicated in litigation and this, that, and the other. Hopefully someday they will do something about that. Let's see what else we have. La da dee da da. What's the temperature today? Paco, Scott, the temperature was announced earlier, and how wonderful it is that once this broadcast is over, you can actually go back and rewind it and figure out the temperature on your own. Let's see. Yes, that's where the restaurant is where you can eat in the water. And I was very excited to go in there and just show it to you. I've seen photos of the restaurant on Facebook. I don't know if the food is good or bad, but it is the one restaurant that happens to have I don't know, but maybe this much of water where you can sit there and enjoy your meal while your feet are being refreshed. But as you clearly saw, the hotel does not allow people to just go in and have a look. And that is what it is. You know, their choice, no biggie. Um, Sherry says Los Arcos brunch is delightful. I'm glad you think so. Um, Paula was not impressed with the food at, I suppose you're referring to the Splashy restaurant. Mm, bum bum bum. Uh-huh. Clearly, Playa Los Arcos has no clue about getting free PR, says Heather. Well, Heather, here's the thing. I remember when we used to work in Vallarta Lifestyles and we were going to visit a business, we would call ahead. You know, it's like, hey, we're coming to visit, so show the best of yourselves, and we're going to take photographs and do an article, this, that, and the other. And I've come to change my mindset about that. I could have called Playa Los Arcos ahead of time, and I could have said, "Hey, I am Paco, and I have a program," and blah blah blah. But I don't think it should be that way. I actually choose not to pre-announce where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do because I think we should all have the same experience. Whether we're wearing a camera or we're not, or whether we look like locals or whether we look like tourists. So I don't pre-announce, and I don't ever toot my own horn about, hey, how dare you not let me in, because I don't think that's a nice way to go about it. Clearly, I would have loved to give the hotel and their new restaurant a little bit of publicity, and the good thing is that we don't lack many amazing other places that welcome and appreciate when you want to at least go into their new spots and check out what they're all about. Kate says, what about a day pass to Hotel Buenaventura? I say, Kate, what about it? What about a day pass to Hotel Buenaventura? We've announced they have them. We have yet to go. When we go, you'll be the first to know. But Kate, maybe you can go to day pass to Hotel Buenaventura and you can let us know how it went. Whoever gets there first gets to tell the story. I choose not to support Los Arcos for obvious reasons, not gay friendly. My only comment about that, Troy, is, and given the fact that some of you get a little restless when I say negative things about this, that, or the other, I will simply say that Los Arcos Hotel and Restaurant is not for me. And again, I'm grateful that there are a lot of hotels, there are a lot of restaurants here in this wonderful city of ours. Let's see, what else? Da-dee-da-da-da-da. Ba-dee-da-dee-da-da. Lots of interesting comments about webcams. I remember how I used to look at webcams when I lived in Boston and I was dreaming about moving here. It used to be so important to me. Let's see. Always great to hear the sound of children having fun at the beach. Absolutely agree. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your comment, Christy. Christy sent me a very interesting private message about how we can continue music appreciation encounters separate from the broadcast. And I'll have you know that I am finally going to learn Zoom. I think Zoom is a great platform for having more of a back and forth encounter with small numbers of people in which we can actually have a conversation or listen to each other's voice. I think what I'm going to do is in the next couple of days, I'm going to put a poll up, a survey, just to find out how familiar you guys are with Zoom and whether having a conversation among supporting members or having music appreciation lectures through Zoom would be a valuable option here for Coffee and Headlines. Let's see what else. I love the fact that you miss it. I see. Oh my God, so miss it. Love, love, love this. I like going back and walking these places because I'm constantly reminded of what a beautiful city it is that we live in. So thank you very much for all your remarks. Um, bim, pam, 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 pam. Thank you, Brenda Lee, for your remark. Thank you so much. Pitote! Oh my God, Noi from Thailand. Loved seeing my old office view. Oh, as you know, Noi was the executive chef at Daiquiri Dix for many, many years, and she is and always be part of my personal family of choice. And it is always great to see you here, Noi, and it's always great to see how you're thriving with your own videos of shopping through the markets in Thailand and cooking Thai food. I love you very much. Let's see. Any idea when the buses might go back to normal? There are still some issues, apparently, especially on the weekends, and I have employees that have to take an Uber or taxi. Kathleen, I haven't seen any news about this, but if I run into any headlines to that effect, we will definitely keep them in mind to share here. Okay, crochet and acting. Angelo says, can you crochet a loincloth for me? I will crochet a loincloth for you if you come into my apartment for private measurements. Michal says, crochet and acting is intrigued. Celeste, oh, wonderful, Paco. I would love to get together, maybe a fun interactive theater project that can crochet together the community. I love you. I love you, Celeste. I love the fact that you're always thinking of something new. I will get high again. Duh, like that's any news. And I will try to remember all these thoughts that came into my mind about crochet and acting. And I will either write a short article or I will read them here. I will share them with whoever wants to learn more about them. We'll be interested to see what happens to Daiquiri Dix. We have a condo attached, Plaza Dorada. I assume Plaza Dorada is the building. I don't know what the name of the building is. And I assume that whatever project comes in will have to abide by whatever the building's guidelines are. And hopefully it will be a project that will honor the legacy of Daiquiri Dix. We'll have to wait and see what goes on. Angelica says, it is very sad that they are not keeping the Mexican traditional architecture in the construction of new buildings. I agree with you, Angelica, but I've been very pleasantly surprised to see, and our friends from Versalles and I were commenting as we were walking around the neighborhood the other day, there is a refreshing amount of new buildings here in the Versalles area that feature exposed brick in the outside of the buildings, which is actually a very refreshing thing. I happen to love the look of exposed red brick, even if it's just imitation. Like, I don't know if they're actually using bricks to build or if they're using some other chingaderas, but they don't look as modern as some of the other projects. How do we know when our coffee cup has gone dry and we need to buy you more coffee? Oh, I have an answer for that, Doug. Here's the thing. You can support Coffee and Headlines either with the occasional purchase of coffees or with an ongoing subscription. In a perfect world, in my perfect mind, subscription is for anyone that, wants to support the channel, and coffees are for anyone that just wants to spontaneously buy me a coffee. Like maybe you go out with friends and buy them a cocktail or buy a round. The bottom line is you have both options, and you can be as nice as you want, as often as you want. We're not going to get greedy about this. But just whenever you feel like you had a particularly good show and you learned something really helpful or wonderful, buy us a coffee. Luna certainly appreciates that. Right, Luna? Are you excited about more coffees? Yes, she is absolutely paying attention, as you can see, ready to take all your comments in. Let's see. Well, that's a thought. And absolutely, what happens to all those crumbs that fall into the water? There was a beautiful villa south of Puerto Vallarta that was built next to a river, and they used to set up a table on the river where you could sit there. Again, Sheila, it's gimmicky. I don't know how they clean it. Imagine that you like drop something and like your entire plate of chilaquiles ends up in the pool. Oh, maybe I don't want to go to that restaurant at all. Um, wouldn't it be funny if they had the little fish in the water at the restaurant so that you can get some extra food pampering if you like that sort of thing? I've never tried that, Christy, but that thought crossed my mind. They should have like a school of feet eating fish. But no, I don't know. The more I think about it, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, thank you. Um, yes, you have missed me twice, Sean. Let's get together at your restaurant and let's get really silly. Um, Terry says we have gay clients that stay there and love it. I assume you refer to Playa Los Arcos. Um, Again, if you talk to people, you will find that there's a lot of not pleasant blood between Playa Los Arcos and the gay community. Just ask around. What's eating got to do with gay? That's a good question, Linda. And I think it has to do with personal conviction. I mean, there might be like I don't listen to music conducted by Herweg von Karajan because he was a Nazi sympathizer. It is possible that there are businesses that you choose not to cater to or to support because of their viewpoint or their political views or this, that, and the other. So, what has eating got to do with gay? It's quite simple. There's a perception that Los Arcos has not been very gay friendly through the years. It's not the only restaurant on Los Muertos Los Muertos Beach that has that reputation. And in fact, if you go back to Coffee and Headlines history, the first time that we ruffled a restaurant was because I said that the owner was homophobic, and the owner's wife came to me and said, "How dare you?" And then the number of public comments against the restaurant pretty much put her in her own place. So there you have it. I hope I've answered your question. Does a 3-second rule apply for food that falls in the water? In chlorined water? No, thank you. Let's see what else we have. Pitinsky, I love you back. I've had 2 very different experiences at Los Arcos. Won't be back there. Well, again, there is something for everyone, and that's a good thing. Hello, will we get an email when our annual membership is up? Actually, it happens. The renewal happens automatically. Dan, what I have seen is that some people have chosen to end the subscription at some point, and instead of unsubscribing, they have issued a formal complaint with PayPal. That is one way to go about it, but if you visit our frequently asked question document that is referenced in every single broadcast, you will find healthy ways to unsubscribe. But if you are a subscriber, and I'm answering Karen, yes, your subscription will automatically renew. What about piranha? Well, let's get your measurements first, Angelo, and then we can talk about your piranha. Let's see what else. Dan says we prefer to support businesses that are supportive of the gay community. Well, we try to support businesses that are supportive of any community, and again, going back to this whole notion of what we say or what we don't say about businesses. It's good to live in a city where there are so many choices. That's all I'm going to say. So we can choose to shed negative energy on a business that is not up to our standards or our liking, or we can simply choose to praise those that are. That happened to me yesterday or the day before. I go buying yarn at, there are 2 branches of La Perlita here in Puerto Vallarta, one in which the people in charge don't ever seem to be in the mood to to sell anything, and another one where people remember you and remember where you are and remember that you bought this or that kind of yarn. And so yeah, I think we just gravitate to places where we will be treated kindly and fairly. There's nothing wrong with that. Deb says, was trying to up your coffee numbers on PayPal, not successful so far. Sorry to hear that, Deb. Thank you very much for your support. I have seen and heard that it is always easier to deal with PayPal on a computer, a laptop, and not so much on your iPhone or tablet. And I think keep the positive energy flowing cluster is a good way to wrap up our broadcast for today. Oh my God, it's 11:26. We've been chatting for a while, and there's still 99 of you. Thank you. There's still 99 of you here. Thank you so much for hanging out. I love connecting with you and learning what's on your mind. And yes, let's keep the energy positive, and let's keep it flowing, and let's try to stay kind and helpful and healthy. Healthy as far as COVID, healthy as far as our mindset in terms of our surroundings and our life moving forward. And yes, that's it. Thank you so very much. This was a lot of fun. Tomorrow is Thursday. We'll have to see what kind of news we have ready for you tomorrow. But I hope that you have a great hump day, that you'll stay kind, that you'll stay happy, that you'll stay positive, and that we will cross paths again soon. Hopefully, maybe even tomorrow. Have an amazing day.